Yes. Good evening, everybody. It is a dark, dark night where a dark, dark man waits with a dark, dark purpose. And he is with us in the studio tonight, Mr. Max Van Der Kraan. Thank you. Now, before we get underway, I must ask, Max, when you find yourself at the end of your life, the end of your existence, and you must confront the Grim Reaper himself, what would you do?
I'd like to say I'd be all butch and I'd stand up in his face and laugh, but I'd probably run away screaming.
Well, fair enough. But there is one guy who, when confronted with the Reaper, decided to play chess.
Checkmate. And why not? Checkmate! Bollocks to this!
Yes, that was, of course, the opening sequence to the brilliant episode of The Young Ones, Nasty. I take it you were a Young Ones fan as well, are you?
Yeah, slightly belated, mind. I grew up in Holland, so it passed me by the first time round, but yeah, I do enjoy good.
Well, it's one of those things that's always there now, thanks to the wonders of DVD and people telling you all about it. It's got a legacy forever, and it came out at exactly the right time.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Box of Stuff with me, DC Watt, and he's back, Max Van Der Kraan. Welcome back, my friend. Welcome back. Good to see you again.
Thank you, sir.
Now, last time, obviously, when we had you on the show last year, you were part of a music band. You were telling us about your love for music, and now you're involved in another project, I understand.
I am indeed, yes.
Okay, why don't you tell us all about it?
Well, it's a little a film that we've been making since the end of last year with a gentleman called John Williams as director, and it's set in Stoke, and it's as much of a homage to the great horror films of the past as it is a homage to just how naff Stoke can be, even to the inhabitants of the place.
Oh dear! And but but from what I've gathered about this impending horror flick called The Mothertown,
indeed,
it's not just set in Stoke-on-Trent. It's actually taking place in the Potteries, is it not?
It is, yeah, predominantly Burslem. Which is where John Williams, the director, is from. So it's it's I think a real love letter to his own growing up in that environment and the sights and sounds and smells.
Sounds brilliant. Now, if for any of our listeners out there who have a question they wish to ask Max, or if they have any inquiries about the Mothertown, then please get in touch with us. Linda, how do people do that again? I keep forgetting. Thank you very much, Linda. Much appreciated. Again, to all our growly listeners out there. Now, Max, from what I've seen so far of the promotional aspect of that John Williams is putting into the Mothertown, it really looks a really good, heartfelt. He's putting a lot of heart and soul into this project. It looks really good. The promotional posters, the prosthetics, the performances. How long has it taken so far to this project?
I mean, I wasn't around at the writing stage, but I think it started in perhaps some point between September and November, I think, for John, the writing, and I think we started filming in October. Yeah, we started filming. October it would have been.
Mm-hmm.
October, there we go.
Brilliant.
See, I do have a brain. It's not been eaten by zombies. And
it looks like everyone else has in this film.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. It's been really good experience because you mentioned the artwork and everything. We've had just a really talented bunch of people give their time for free in all aspects, from camera and acting, advertising,
storyboarding,
special effects. You know, it's been about as pure a creative experience as there can be, because everyone's doing it for the love of the art of making a film.
Well, that's the thing that I've really come to love about the independent film industry. I mean, obviously, the masses these days turn to the big blockbuster promotions. They go to Paramount, they go to Warner Brothers, they go to Disney, they go to Sony, they go to wherever. But what many people don't realise is that there is a thriving community out there who loves the art of film, filmmaking, and they put together some wonderful short films out there, as has been chronicled in the Congleton Film Festival last year. And of course, you see all these wonderful online fan films based on superheroes that you see on YouTube. Just a real thriving bunch of talent, a well of talent that's just waiting to be discovered. And that seems to be true in the case of the Mothertown, because I'm looking at their Facebook page and it's generated over 1,000 likes in terms of hype and interest. And the film isn't out yet, which says a lot about the effort that John Williams is putting into this thing, and all those people who are involved in the project. Absolutely,
yeah. I think it's unmistakable, really. I think genuine love and passion for something is infinitely infectious, and I think from a personal perspective, I think John's enthusiasm for just creating something like this that he's always dreamt of is it's very infectious. It's easy to get on board with because you want to be part of it.
Yeah. Well, it certainly seems to show in these first production shots that have been posted on the Mothertown Facebook page, and of course all the things, the snapshots of the cast and crew involved, all the work that's going into it. It speaks volumes, really. It really does.
Absolutely.
So, how did you get involved in the project in the Mothertown?
Well, John had helped us when I was in my old band. He helped us make our first music video, and I think we just sort of bonded instantly because we share similar interests creatively, you know, musically and cinema-wise. And he told me he was doing his first full-length film, and I knew I had to audition. I needed to be part of something like this because, like I said, John's just one of these people that's very, you know, easy to get on with, and it's something I had to do. And
brilliant.
Luckily, I got the part after auditioning. So
brilliant. So tell us a bit about the plot itself of the Mothertown and the role, the part you're playing.
Okay. Well, it follows a lot of different people. It's one of those rare films where I wouldn't say there is a lead character per se. We've got a lot of characters which are on the same standing, and it follows a lot of these storyline strands throughout the film from these small pockets of people from different backgrounds, but ultimately, you know, nearly all from Stoke, and how this zombie apocalypse affects them all and how they deal with this. So it's very much a character piece on top of being obviously an action horror film, a comedy.
It sounds really worthwhile. So the part that you're playing from these production shots, I think, are you a security guard?
Yes, we're a security guard. My character is called Malcolm, and I've got my my co-worker Ronnie, and they both have these illusions of grandeur. We think we're Rainier / Chuck Norris. You know, we can survive anything, we can fight anything, and really we're just a pair of idiots. Which was obviously very easy for me to play.
well, it sounds like it's got a real down to earth feel. This film,
yeah.
And I think what says. What's making me interested in this is the fact that it's so near to where I'm from. I mean, Stoke-on-Trent's only a drive away from Congleton, and the fact that it's set in such familiar territory for a lot of people. It's so close to home. It's so near. It's it kind of fills people with a real sense of pride, knowing that this film is being shot where I'm from.
Absolutely, and I don't doubt that was part of John's thinking when creating this. Much as the film pokes fun at aspects of Stoke life, he's a Stoke man through and through, and it's where he's from, and there is an element of pride there. So I think this is an attempt to put his world on the map.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's to be applauded, really.
Excellent stuff. Right, well, got a lot of good people there tuning in for tonight's show. Thank you all very much for tuning in, and we've still got much more to talk about throughout the hour in the box of stuff, but first things first, shall we have a song?
Why not?
Yeah, how's about Black by Pearl Jam?
One of my favourites.
Absolutely, mine too. Don't go away, everyone. We'll be back in just a few minutes to discuss more about John Williams, the Mothertown, and of course chat with more of chat with Max himself, so don't go away.
Here's Johnny.
Mothertown Radio.
Yes, there indeed was Johnny from Stan Kubrick's The Shining. Welcome back everyone to the box of stuff, where beforehand we had Black by Pearl Jam, and of course Max is still with us in the studio to discuss the Mothertown and other things. Right, so Max, we've obviously been chatting off air, and now obviously we've been discussing more about the Mothertown and the independent film industry. John Williams, how can people check out his work?
Well, he has a Facebook group page, which I'm pretty sure is John Williams Filmmaker, and he also has a YouTube page. My apologies, which is the Monkfish.
The Monkfish.
The Monkfish. I'm not entirely sure why, but it has some of his short films on there, which are all sort of written, directed, and filmed by him. It's before he got everybody else on board, and they all show a heck of a lot of promise, and they're very funny as well, actually.
So what kind of short films are they exactly? Are they stop motion or live action?
They're predominantly live action.
Yeah.
Predominantly have either a horror theme or a comedy theme. Although they're not both exclusive. There's some funny horror clips on there and whatnot.
Brilliant. So we'll have a bit of a research into that, and we'll put a link to John Williams's work on our Facebook page in just a few moments.
Lovely.
So Max, obviously you've been involved in the Mothertown. When you were last on the box of stuff back in November, we talked about your love for music, your talents for music, and your history with it. Now let's talk a bit about your taste for film.
Okay.
Your taste for horror films. Have there been any horror films or any movies in general that really had such an impact on you that you made you want to decide, I'd like to be in a film one day when I'm older?
I think originally Nightmare on Elm Street when I was a younger child had the adverse effect on me.
Yeah.
Completely put me off sleeping, beds, or film.
Understandable.
But I think I've always fancied being involved in a comedy horror film, and I think this was fueled massively in the early 90s by a certain little film called Tremors, which I thought had this lovely balance of characters you care about, a nice bit of slapstick comedy here and there, but there was this genuine feeling of dread and danger. It was a nice mashup of these two genres, and I do sort of gravitate a lot more towards horror that has a slight comedy element running through it, that doesn't take itself too seriously. Yeah,
that's the thing. I mean, truth be told, I'm not that much of a horror person. I mean, most of the time I do. When I was a kid, I used to, no, he's going to get me. But there's also the fact that there has been a lot of occasions when the horror in certain films has been far too crude, to the point where it's nothing just someone's guts splattered all over the camera, and that's diminishing any story, any real sense of loss or sense of dread when a character bites the dust, as it were. And really, I think the key art to any film, really, or whatever genre it may be, is that it needs a story and a cast that you can emotionally invest in. Otherwise, there's no point to it.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I think you run a real danger of having if there's characters in there that you don't care about or you're not emotionally invested in, then the fact of whether they're in danger or whether they live or die is a moot point. And ultimately, any heart or emotional investment you have in this film is gone, and you end up viewing it as more of an exercise in violence rather than, I don't know. Well, there was a point to that when I started the sentence.
It's fine.
Sadly trailed off towards the end.
Well,
there,
never mind. I think. Never mind. Now, obviously, so far we've seen a lot of snapshots. We've seen a lot of production stills, promotional material. We've seen the movie posters on for the Mothertown.
Yes.
Is there a trailer out there?
I don't think there is at the moment. I think he was waiting to make a trailer until the filming itself was completely done.
Yeah.
And some of the editing, in case there was bits and bobs in there that aren't in the film, or he decided on different shots, which I think is probably a good idea. I think some filmmakers in Hollywood take it to the extreme, and you get a trailer a year and a half before the film comes out.
Yeah, I mean it is understandable that. I mean, I do remember a few years ago when the first trailers, the first previews for The Dark Knight Rises were coming out, and they were showing this is Bane in action, this is Tom Hardy as Bane, and on the one hand, at that particular point in time, Tom Hardy as Bane was absolutely brilliant. He captured the essence of the character, but blimey, you couldn't understand a word he was saying. And I think that didn't exactly create the right impression to begin with. And then roll forward several months after that, you could tell that the post-production team had done a lot more work on the audio for Bane's voice, and it's shown through more clearly. So, yeah, it is understandable, because there is that danger if you get too eager, then you do run the risk of alienating a lot of viewers before they've even got a chance to see the film.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think, John's gone to great pains to try and keep a lot of elements of the storyline hidden. He wants, so many things to be a surprise, because it's the purest way to enjoy any film. I avoid trailers myself now, because I don't want spoilers anymore. I read bits and bobs about film, but I don't really want to have an extensive knowledge of what I'm going to see. I don't want the spectacle ruined. I think John has approached it in very much the same way. I know he will make a trailer at some point very soon, but it wouldn't surprise me if it doesn't actually have much of the film in there, which I think is the best way to go into any film. Absolutely is.
It's certainly an intriguing method. I mean, normally when the first thing I can't wait to see whenever I hear a film is being announced is the trailer, really, because I want to know exactly what it is I'm letting myself in for. And most of the time, trailers don't reveal too many critical plot elements, which is a good thing. But yes, you do get occasions when you do get someone who reveals a critical plot point in the film, and it's like, oh, right, so is that how it's going to go? I mean, there is the danger of a film becoming too predictable, because of spoilers, certainly. What are John's plans with regards to the distribution of the film? I mean, obviously it will be screened. Is it going to be screened at film festivals? Is he planning on taking it around the country?
That's the plan. I mean, I've not spoke to him about this for a good while, so I don't know if any plans have changed, but I think there was the hope that it would get screened at a cinema somewhere, even if it's just the once, because that's the right way to have a film.
Definitely.
The film up on the big screen. I think the idea is it's a money raiser, it's a fundraiser. There's charities that John's involved with, which you'll be able to see on his pages and whatnot. This film is a fundraiser for this, which is part of the reason why everyone's given their time for free. Ultimately, distribution of this film afterwards, has got to turn a profit for the right reasons.
Yeah.
So I think in as many avenues he can to get his film out there, be it in festivals, be it on DVD or online. I think he will push it as much as he can and raise as much money as he possibly can for a good cause.
Well, that's certainly the impression I'm getting so far. Just looking at his Facebook page alone for the Mothertown. Obviously, we were talking about the cause you mentioned. Is it? I presume it's going to charity, or is it going to?
It is, yeah. I mean, I can't remember the name of the charity, so I don't want to say it in case I get the name wrong. But it's a medical health charity.
Oh, good, excellent.
So yeah, it's
not based in Raccoon City, is it?
It's not based in Raccoon City.
Oh,
no.
Phew. Resident Evil joke there. Right, okay, well, it sounds brilliant. We'll talk more about release date and, of course, your involvement in the film later on. Now, do you believe that only pop music can save us now, Max?
No, I do not.
Well, I personally do, and I know someone else who does.
Greetings from South Africa.
It's a vampire! In a parcel! In the kitchen!
Hate mail. What are we going to do?
Only pop music can save us now!
All-time hits from Beartown Radio.
Vic couldn't see you, so you are a ghost.
Yeah, I told you, there's someone me up.
Oh, the wankers. This is the last day I need a freaking ghost in the house. No offence,
None taken.
Beartown Radio.
Yes, that was, of course, Bob Mortimer from the recent television series The House of Fools. Absolutely awesome. And, of course, welcome back, everyone, to The Box of Stuff, where it's me and Max Van Der Kraan. Hello. Discussing John Williams' work, The Mothertown, for which Max is partaking in. Again, if you have any questions you wish to ask Max relating to the film, then please get in touch with us, and Linda will tell you how. Thank you, Linda.
Can I just ask why you keep Linda in a little box in the studio and just bring her out when you need a phone number?
She tried to take over the world.
Let you off.
Right, okay.
At least she got a bowl of water.
Of course she has. Cheers, Linda, as always. Now, Max, obviously, one thing I must ask about the Mothertown is... how far away is it from completion? Is there a release date, yes, for this thing?
Ooh, well, we don't have a strict release date yet. I think with this being John's first feature-length film, we're not 100% sure just how long the editing of it will take. Although we're hoping, I think, to have it out within this next month or two.
Jolly good.
I think that's the plan, anyway. Many things can go wrong during the editing process, but... fingers crossed.
Well, obviously, there's always that crucial thing when everything's going all hunky-dory, and then there's a problem with production or with the cast, which affects things, sadly. But so far, it seems as though, well, purely from an outsider's perspective, of course, that it seems to have been going according to plan.
It's certainly the way it seems. I'm sure John would argue differently. He might have gained a few more grey hairs from this experience.
Well,
but,
I can only imagine, because obviously, I'm not in the trenches actually filmmaking. It's doing any filmmaking itself. But I tell you what, I do have such respect for people who are involved in this thing. I mean, there are people out there who think, oh, the film's great. Well, I can make a film. Yeah, let's make a film. When really, there was so much time and money to consider with a major project like that, particularly if you're taking things internationally, if you're making a franchise out of it. I mean, I do remember once upon a time I bought... the art and history of making the Dark Knight trilogy.
Okay.
It was a massive coffee table kind of book. And it was weighty, it was huge. I think it cost me about £30. It was worth the money. And I was reading it. I was reading before words from Christopher Nolan, all the insights and stories that were being told. I mean, things like the costume prep, the makeup, the production, the promotion aspects, the storyboarding, the direction, all these things, particularly, and of course, when you're filming in a populated area as well, that can certainly put a impede things somewhat.
Absolutely.
It really is such really, you don't really know how much time and hard work is involved with a project like this until you either see a documentary of it on television or more importantly you're doing it yourself.
Yeah, I think John could have easily taken a more simpler route here and done a little two-hander character piece set in a room, but instead he's got together quite a large cast and got as many extras as possible involved. Anyone in Stoke was able to come join us and be made up as a zombie, and the bigger the scale, the better.
And it's all voluntary as well.
It's all voluntary,
Wow.
I think it says a lot about the people involved, but also
the cause it's going to.
Yeah,
as
the
well.
cause. John's vision, getting as many people involved in this has been a lovely thing to bring. A lot of people together who perhaps wouldn't meet under different circumstances. I know I've certainly made a lot of friends from across England, because there's a good few people who've travelled from afar to come and be part of this, including former Big Brother winner Pete Bennett.
Oh wow!
He plays a part in the film,
Mm-hmm.
and he's very good as well. We have managed to get people from all over Britain, and I've got to mix with a lot of people who I wouldn't have met before. It's been an awesome experience. It really has.
It really sounds it, and it just sounds all the more remarkable. All these stories I'm hearing about the film, and obviously the first pictures that I've seen are what have made me feel really intrigued to check out this film. But also hearing the stories involved in it and all the hard work that's going into it, it speaks volumes really about the vision of the director and all the cast and crew involved.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And it's been really lovely for people such as myself, because I've got to run around a forest for a good few days pretending to be a martial arts expert and a hunter-gatherer and all that. It's
brilliant.
It's been real sort of boys' toy stuff. So yeah, it's been a wonderful experience personally.
So what happened when you actually encountered Craven the Hunter then?
I think I ran. Right,
fair enough. I would. I mean, he died in Craven's last hunt and now he's back from the dead. What's going on? No! Right, don't go away, everyone. We'll be back again in just a few moments. Stay tuned with us, and we've got plenty more to discuss.
All-time hits from Beartown Radio. Streaming radio, the future of radio. At home, at work, or on your mobile.
Right now, it's ashes to ashes.
Funk to funky, we know Major, Tom to junkie.
I've just fallen into a grave! Brilliant! Let's fill it in!
No, we can't bury Rick alive.
That's absolutely correct, Neil. We'd better kill him first.
Beartown Radio.
Right?
It's brilliant, isn't it?
That's tickled me.
That is one of my favourite bits of dialogue ever out of the young ones. Who just, help! I've just fallen into a grave. Brilliant. Let's fill it in. And just when you think it can't get any better, you've got what's it? No, we can't bury Rick alive. That's absolutely correct, Neil. We better kill him first. Oh dear, anything goes on the young ones. Anything goes. Excellent. And of course, that song you heard just then, after we came back from the break, was Bernard Herrmann's infamous Psycho theme from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Now, Max, obviously we've been chatting off there about the Psycho and not the Psycho. I mean the Mothertown. Sorry, and other things as well. Obviously, what films has John taken any inspiration from any films or things like that for this work?
I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell you of a specific film, but I do know John is a real enthusiast of horror films, especially the older horror films. He's not necessarily into his torture porn and all that, as they say. He likes his, especially the tongue-in-cheek 80s period where, killers were ridiculous and victims were vacuous, but it was all, you know, there was a real sort of sense of fun to everything.
Kind of like, say, Tim Burton stuff, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think any bargain basement straight to video horror film that you can think of the late 70s and early to mid 80s, he will know and love.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. I mean, obviously, Tim Burton's stuff. I mean, he didn't just incorporate the dark gothic look. He incorporated the horror with some brilliant humour and outstanding storytelling as well. I mean, obviously, when we think back to Tim Burton, aside from Batman, you obviously think of The Nightmare Before Christmas. You think of Beetlejuice. You think of Edward Scissorhands.
Absolutely, yeah.
I kind of get the impression that when you were a lad, Tim Burton was hit over the head with a really, really big stick, and that made him think up all these really far out psychological stories.
Yeah.
I mean, the man was a genius, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I mean, I think any artist who's not prepared to put any sort of
flair.
Yeah. You know, it's all about, you know, letting your brain just see what it comes up with and being fearless in those choices. And I think there's a lot to be said for that.
Definitely. And we've just been having a look at John Williams' YouTube page right now. We'll put up a link to his work in just a few moments. Again, it looks a really good creative mind that he has. Going back to the subject of horror inspirations, horror films, what particular did you call upon any inspiration for horror films? I mean, we talked about the favourite horror films you enjoyed watching earlier on. Did you recall any particular inspirations for the part you played in the Mothertown?
I don't know, not necessarily. I think a lot of my inspiration came from sort of people, you know. Everybody knows people who've got, you know, this sense of grandeur about themselves, and, you know, absolutely no self-awareness. And I think it's very freeing, not only to allow yourself to be like that, but to play a part like that. You know, you manage to launch yourself into everything wholeheartedly, without doubt, or. So I wouldn't say it necessarily came from a film or a particular role. It's more to do with sort of people you know and getting aspects and bringing them together into a whole, you know. Yeah, I just basically pretended to be one of my friends.
Well, fair enough. I think that's it seems to be the best way to go about a project like this when everything's fine, you're just going about your normal life, and then all of a sudden this zombie outbreak occurs.
Absolutely.
I think it's true to the spirit that in life you never really know what's going to happen in any way. But
no, I think the funny aspect as well, you've got all these other characters who are, you know, we've got some football fans, and there's a religious family, you know, there's people from all these different backgrounds, and most people's are completely ill-equipped and unprepared and full of fear, whereas, you know, our characters are in denial so much. You know, this is exactly what we feel we needed, you know. Our whole life has been spent training for a zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
And the reality is we're completely ill-equipped, in some ways worse than the other people.
Yeah, it's in other words, one of those opportunities where I was born to have a shotgun or a bazooka, but it's like, hang on, how come it's not firing? Why doesn't the trigger squeeze?
Exactly, yeah, that sort of thing.
Ah, brilliant. Can't wait to see more of it when it's released, and hopefully it's not far off.
No, it won't be.
Ah, brilliant, so can't wait to hear that. Fancy another song?
Yes.
How about The Bear Song by Green Jelly?
Yes, why not?
Yeah, we haven't got that much long left to go until the show, so we'll quickly play The Bear Song, and then we'll wrap things up, I think. Okay, here we are with The Bear Song, courtesy of Green Jelly. Enjoy.
This is Beartown Radio.
Yes, absolutely awesome. That was, of course, the Bear Song, courtesy of Green Jelly. Well, it's approaching 5 to 8 now. It's not long until the awesome Oz comes on to take over from me. Max, it's been an absolutely great show. Really loved it. Really enjoyed chatting with you again and talking about the Mothertown, and it sounds really, really good. So mates, thank you very much.
It's
And
a pleasure to be part of this.
no problem at all. And do you have anything to say to our listeners out there before we wrap things up?
Yes, absolutely. We've got some links to John's work online. If you like what you see and you're involved in creating music, you're in a band or you're a musician, John is currently making a lot of music videos for local talent, not only to push their names out there, but hopefully the money that he makes with that will fund his next project. So, you know, the more people that are interested in having a very good video made, and they're all on there online, he's made a few already. And if you like what you see, please don't hesitate to get in contact, because John is a great creative mind.
Brilliant.
And he'll find the suitable thing for you.
Well, that's definitely the vibe I'm getting, absolute stuff. And we've put up a link on our Facebook page just now to direct you to John's work, and please check it out, and please check out the Mothertown, because it really sounds absolutely worthwhile.
Please do come and watch it.
Absolutely, sorry. And I do apologise for not switching the mic on earlier, because I was wondering why it was a bit quiet there. Oh dear. Oh dear. Anyway, thanks very much, Max. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
No problem at all. And join us again next week on The Box of Stuff, when next week we'll begin our countdown month in anticipation of the One Act Play Festival coming up at Daneside Theatre. We've got all kinds of wonderful guests, so please check out my Facebook page at DC Wood with more details that will sure to follow. And now, I think to finish this horror-based episode off, we've got to play this song because it's the law.
It's a must.
It's a must. It is an absolute must. Michael, you absolute legend, take us away, mate. See you next week, everyone. Bye.